My dear son, one day in life, people may try to make you feel like you are not good enough. Some people will doubt you, some will underestimate you, and some may even try to make you feel small just so they can feel better about themselves. But there is something I want you to remember. Your worth is not determined by what people say about you. Your value does not change because someone failed to see it. That is why I am writing this letter to you, because there is a lesson I want you to carry with you for the rest of your life. My son, always know your worth. As you grow up in life, there will be moments when the world will test you. There will be times when you try your best, yet people will still say it is not good enough. I remember one day when you came back from school very quiet. You were not your usual cheerful self. Your shoulders were down, and you avoided looking at me. When I asked you what happened, you said something that touched my heart. You said, "Dad, maybe I am not as smart as the other children." Someone had laughed at you in school that day. Someone made you feel like you were not good enough. And for the first time, you began to doubt yourself. But my son, listen carefully. Just because someone cannot see your value does not mean it is not there. That evening, I called you to sit beside me outside the house. The sun was already setting, and the village was becoming quiet. You sat next to me on the wooden bench, still thinking about what happened in school. I could see that the words spoken to you had really affected your heart. Then I said to you, "My son, there is something very important you must understand about life. In this world, people will always have opinions. Some will believe in you, some will doubt you, and some will try to define your value based on what they think they know. But remember this, a person who truly understands his worth does not allow other people's opinions to decide his future." Then I reached into my pocket and brought out a small coin. I held it up in front of you and asked, "My son, how much is this coin worth?" You looked at it carefully and replied, "It is worth 100. I nodded slowly. Then I dropped the coin on the dusty ground beside us and stepped on it with my foot. After that, I picked it up again. Now it was dirty and covered with dust. I showed it to you once more and asked, "Now tell me, how much is it worth?" You looked at it again and said, "It is still worth 100. I smiled and said, "Exactly." I placed the coin gently into your hand. Then I said, "My son, do you understand what just happened?" This coin fell into the dust. It was stepped on. It became dirty, but its value did not change. It is still worth the same amount. Life will sometimes do the same thing to you. There will be days when people criticize you, days when you make mistakes, days when others try to make you feel like you are not important. But remember this, my son, just because life knocks you down does not mean your value has changed. I placed my hand on your shoulder and looked straight into your eyes. Then I said, "My son, there is something you must always remember. The world will treat you the way you allow it to treat you. If you believe you are small, people will treat you as if you are small. If you keep doubting yourself, others will also doubt you. But when a man respects himself and knows his value, people begin to respect him too. Confidence is not pride. It simply means you understand who you are. And a man who truly knows his worth will never beg the world to accept him." You stood quietly for a moment, holding the coin in your hand. I could see that you were thinking deeply. Slowly, the sadness on your face began to disappear. You looked at the coin again, and then you looked back at me. This time, your eyes were different. They were stronger, not because the world had suddenly changed, but because something inside you had changed. That was the moment I knew you were beginning to understand. Your worth was never in the hands of those who doubted you. Your worth was always inside you. Years passed faster than I expected. The small boy who once doubted himself slowly grew into a young man. Life still tested you. There were still people who underestimated you. There were still moments when the road ahead felt difficult. But something had changed. You carried yourself differently. You walked with quiet confidence. Not because life had suddenly become easier, but because you remembered the lesson of the coin. No matter how many times life tried to push you into the dust, your value never changed. My son, if you are reading this letter today, It means you are now walking your own path in life. You will meet many people along the way. Some will believe in you. Some will doubt you. Some may even try to break your confidence. But never forget the lesson we shared that evening outside our home. Never allow someone else's opinion to decide your value. Never shrink yourself just to fit into someone else's expectations. And never trade your self-respect for temporary approval. Because the moment a man forgets his worth, he begins to live a life that was never meant for him. My son, life will try to shape you in many ways. Sometimes it will lift you. Sometimes it will knock you down. Sometimes it will place you in rooms where people doubt you before you even speak. But remember this one truth. You do not need the world's permission to believe in yourself. Your value was never given by people, and it can never be taken away by them.
Standhalt.
Respect yourself, protect your dignity, and walk through life knowing that your worth is not defined by rejection, failure, or the opinions of others. Because a man who truly knows his worth will never settle for less than the life he was created to live. With love, your father.